Hey, Mom, listen, I'm finally going to be able to go to that college. And I was able to pass all my exams and interviews for the college of my dreams. So starting this fall, I'll be able to finally step into that college as a student. That's fantastic to hear. Did you really end up passing all your exams and interviews? I'm so happy to hear all of this from you finally, June. Congratulations. Not only are you going to be able to attend that school now, but you'll even have the chance to become a Harvard alumni. That's so amazing. You really did give it your all there, and this is the reward you're getting for it. Well, I did end up taking after Dad and became a really intelligent woman. I could really say that passing those exams to get into Harvard was a piece of cake for someone with my genes. You have that right. Ever since you began to speak, you've been just like your dad, and you were so smart. Well, now that I've heard the good news from you, we're going to have to prepare a celebration. What do you want to eat for dinner tonight? I'll give it my all to make you whatever kind of dinner you ask for. You don't have to worry about tonight. As a celebration for my passing my final year, Dad is taking me out to eat. Just the two of you? Am I not allowed to come and celebrate with the two of you? You know that you're not allowed to. I mean, all you are is a high school graduate. What? Dad ended up continuing his education doing postgraduate work and even now is working in the labs at the school. And I turned out just like him, having passed the entrance exams into Harvard. Do you really think there's room for a high school graduate between he and I? I'm sorry, but I won't be happy having someone who's never been to college celebrating my graduation. June, what are you talking about right now? I get that you feel on top of the world right now after having passed all your interviews at Harvard, but you still haven't become a student there, right? I understand that you've passed the exams and all that, but you still have to wait until you've graduated high school yourself. So at the moment, you're not even considered a high school graduate, right? Talking like you know anything is really getting on my nerves, especially since you've never gone through any sort of education after high school. You're the number one idiot in this family, so you have no right to be talking to me like you're a distinguished person. Did you just call me an idiot? Hold your horses there, June. Did you really just say that to your own mother? Who do you think it was that allowed you to take those exams for Harvard, as well as allowed you to go study after school in those cram classes? And who has it been that's been here supporting you this whole time through all of it? We all know it's been Dad who's been there supporting me and helping me get through all my classes and exams. He's the one that works in the research department within that university, so it has to be him. He's from a very amazing college himself, as well as has the brains of a scientist, so I know he's been the one. You don't feel that I could have been the one that helped you through all of that? I'm the one that's been working a lot through my career to support both you and your father, June. And I've been the one paying for all the groceries in this house, along with all the bills, totaling around $2,000 a month. Haven't you realized that it's been me paying for all of that? Oh, what are you trying to say then? I'm surprised Dad ever married you when all you are is a high school graduate with little to show for it. I think he was very generous for allowing you to become a part of his family, and maybe that's why you're paying $2,000 a month. What? In other words, you working your butt off to pay the bills does not matter to me because you're just paying Dad back for what he's had to sacrifice by marrying you. And you are a high school graduate, so whatever work you do is probably way too simple and requires no thinking. So compared to what you do for this family, Dad's job is way more difficult and amazing. He's a researcher for a university, so the money he makes must be at least 10 times what you bring in. Excuse me? Listen, June. Have you really thought of me, your mother, like that this whole time? It's not that I've always been thinking that. Rather, it's all just facts. You are the number one idiot in the house and have little to show for after you got out of high school. So I have something to say to a mother like you. And what is it that you'd like to say? I would like for you to get the hell out of this house. I'm about to become a Harvard student in the next few months, and having a high school graduate like you in this house is just embarrassing. So while Dad and I are out celebrating me graduating high school and getting into Harvard, you can stay home packing your things and getting out of here. Huh? So I'm the embarrassing one. And what do you mean, get out of the house? What are you talking about, June? I spoke with Dad about this already, but he says when I start to go to Harvard, things are going to get a bit tougher for me. I'm going to have to start learning a lot of new things, and I'll need the right environment to study in full time. But if there's a huge idiot in the house with me, that environment, which I'm supposed to study in, is going to fall apart. So that's why I'd like for you to get out of this house. This is not the kind of thing I'd like to be hearing from you right now, June. What kind of reasoning is that for you wanting your mother to leave her house? I'm sorry, Mom, but Dad agrees with me 100%. He said in order to help me graduate from Harvard, he's willing to divorce you. What did you just say? Us intelligent folk only do our best when surrounded by others that are just as intelligent as us. But if there's someone of mass stupidity amongst us, then the intelligence in the whole family begins to break down. And Dad does not want me turning into an idiot like you. What? Has your father really said things like that about me? Has he really gone and called me an idiot like that? He has. That's why you need to hurry up and get out of this house. There's no need for a mother in this house that is less intelligent than her own daughter. Having a parent that's ever only graduated from high school is super embarrassing. Are you really okay with that? I have Dad here to support me, so I'm totally okay with you going. Even without my stupid mother here in this house, I still have an admirable father that'll make sure to meet all my needs. We won't even ask you to pay for my college or for me to be fed or dressed in this house, so get lost already. Well then, I'll take you up on that wish of yours and leave this house. I'll fill out the divorce papers before I leave, so all Dad has to do is sign them.
Thank you so much for filling out and leaving the divorce paperwork here for me yesterday. Just a second ago, I handed them all into the city office.
Well, that's a wrap then. From now on, you and I are divorced.
That's right. And we have no more use for you. I'll make sure to raise June properly from now on, so you won't have to worry about what's happening with her.
But will you be able to manage that? Up until now, you forced me to do everything around that house, as well as raise her while you've stayed out. And without me, there would be nobody there to pay for the house and your guys' food, so how do you plan to carry on now?
Huh?
Well, I'm telling the truth, right? I do think it's pretty great that you're working in that lab at the university in town doing research. But even if you're working there with a master's degree in your field, you aren't making nearly that much. And when it comes to what you are making, you're putting most of that back into your research, right? That's the whole reason why you've had me be the one to use my earnings up to support the household. If it wasn't for all the extra work I've put in, I'd never have any savings to work with right now.
Well, don't worry about that because there's been a major change for me as well. I have just been contacted by a company overseas that is willing to hire me to go work for them.
What? You got an offer from an overseas company to go out and work for them? That right there is an absolutely amazing thing for you, right?
With where I'll be going, it's expected that I'll be making around $500,000 a year doing my research for them. And depending on the outcome of my research, I can expect to be getting close to $1 million in bonuses.
You'll be able to make that kind of money?
That's what you can expect from an overseas company willing to hire an American to go work for them. Unlike the universities and companies here, they are willing to pay a pretty penny for an American researcher with my background. I'll be able to continue the work I love while making massive amounts of money per year.
I see. You asked for a divorce because you've been offered such a great job promising lots of money. I was only ever useful to you because I was able to pay for whatever you couldn't afford, which was mostly everything.
Right now, I'm considered a top researcher in my field who is about to go global. And I should not have to continue to be married to a high school graduate like you any longer. You would only bring shame to my image. When I'm overseas, I'm going to be invited to all sorts of dinners with other elite people. And I can't be bringing a woman like you along with me.
So even you like to call me an embarrassment, huh? Not even a single thanks has come out of your mouth after all I've given for you and June. Instead, constantly looking down on me for never graduating from any higher level of education.
Man, I cannot believe I came out on top being offered to work for such an elite company. And not just by any elite company, but a company called Greenberg that specializes in all kinds of technology.
Greenberg?
Oh? Even a high school graduate like you knows the name of this company. Thanks to the research I'll be able to do for their company, the stock prices are bound to go up for the company. I'd recommend buying all you can of this company's stock so that you will also have some money in the future.
Hold on a second. Isn't this all a bit strange to you? I've read about how that company is no longer planning to work with researchers from your department anymore.
Huh? They don't?
As your wife, I've always kept up on the news regarding your job and companies relating to it. And I think I read about this on one of the foreign news web pages. From what I read regarding Greenberg, they're starting to slow down any research that has to do with what you specialize in.
No way a high school graduate that's ever been to college could actually understand foreign news well enough to get that from it. I think you have a big misunderstanding is all. Why would a company like Greenberg be asking me to work for them if they don't plan to do any research in my field of expertise?
I wouldn't be so sure about that, Jeremy. These days, you can use translating apps to translate all sorts of web pages so that you can fully understand them. I think before you take their offer, you should look into their company a bit more. And maybe take one more look at the offer they sent you as well.
Shut up already. I'm not going to listen to the woman I just divorced talk about my work like she knows a dang thing about it. I'm sure you're just trying to get me to reject the offer now because I'll be making a whole lot of money with it. Well, no matter how hard you try, I'm not going to turn that company down.
Really? I'm not saying all of this because you have a chance to make a lot of money.
Well, you can stop with all this mundane crap that you keep spewing at me now, right? I'm going to accept this generous offer and then go work for a company that's willing to pay me properly for my work. I will no longer need your help anymore either, Sally.
I even tried to warn you about all of this, but I don't know how else to help you now. You run along and don't worry about your ex-wife anymore and go do whatever pleases you. But if you come to regret your decision later on, don't come crawling back to me crying.
You think I'll come crawling back to you? You are nothing more than a brainless woman who offers no further use to my family. You're the one that better stay away from us when you come to regret never ever getting a proper education.
Now that I think about it, I'd like you to start sending me money again and paying for me to go to Harvard. By the end of this week, I'd like you to put around $10,000 into Dad's bank account for me. Shouldn't that dad of yours, that you brag about so much, be able to pay for you to stay in school? He should be able to, but so far, he's still not been paid by the company he's working for at the moment. Seems he accidentally signed that contract, not realizing that he'd only get paid at the end of each year working in that company. He'll be making $500,000 by the end of the year, but for right now, he doesn't have the money to pay for me. What? He only gets paid once a year? Apparently, the company he works for now doesn't pay the same way companies in the US do. But unfortunately, that's not a good enough reason for Harvard, and they want me to pay for schooling by the end of this month. So for the time being, I'll have you pay for me to go to school. We'll make sure to pay you back later on after Dad gets his money. I can't believe this. I thought even Jeremy would have been able to see past that offer he was given. I suppose that he hasn't told you the truth yet about his work then? Huh? The truth? Well, it's not just him, though, but you as well, June. You and your dad both fell for that crap, even though you both claimed to be so intelligent. When really, the two of you are straight-up clowns. Huh? Who the hell are you calling a clown? And what are you talking about with Dad not seeing past that offer? I'm talking about how your dad, that you brag so much about, is a massive idiot. Right now, he's not working for a company overseas. And that's why he'll not be getting an income of $500,000. Which means you both can expect nothing by the end of the year. Huh? Really, he's been played as a fool with that offer. And this whole thing about him getting any sort of money at the end of the year is a lie he's made up to fool you too. And another thing, no matter what kind of situation you end up in down the road, I'm not planning on paying for you to go to school. Now go off and talk with your dad about his current situation and make sure to pay your school by whatever deadline they've given you. Wait a moment. What do you mean Dad isn't working for a company overseas right now? There's no way he'd turn down an offer like that promising huge amounts of money. To tell you the truth, there never was an offer like that, June. Just as I had thought, your dad has been played a fool by some kind of random email. Huh? What do you mean random email? I'm sure that your dad did happen to get an email from an overseas company with some kind of offer in it. But I think the company that sent him that offer made a mistake and sent it to the wrong person who ended up being your dad. They had another researcher in mind, but ended up sending the offer to your dad by mistake. What? I know about all of this because I'd been the wife of your dad for so many years. I kept my eyes and ears open in the communities he works in, and that's why I know more than you guys would think about him. If you want evidence as to why that offer wasn't for him, your dad is still in the US, right? He should have been relocated to France had he accepted the offer and been hired. Now that you mention it, Dad is still in the US. But he's always telling me that he's busy getting ready to leave to go to the new company. And there was a day he came home and was packing a lot of his things, so... Wait, could this mean that right now Dad doesn't have a job? Well, you'll have to ask your dad about that if you want an answer. Now, since you know more about the truth, I'll be going. Good luck getting the money you need to stay in school.
You've really done it now, telling June the truth about me. Why have you done this to me?
You're the one to blame for continuing to live a lie like that in front of her. Anyway, what are you going to do about paying for June to stay in school? I hear that she needs $10,000 for this month, but I doubt you have that kind of money just laying around, right? I received pretty much everything that was in our savings in the divorce, so there's got to be nothing in there.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have anything in savings at the moment. And that's why things regarding her schooling and living costs are getting pretty tight, especially since I was fired from my job.
You were fired from your lab?
When I got that email with the offer regarding the job overseas, I jumped on it and turned in my letter of resignation. But right after doing that, I realized that the offer wasn't meant for me. I tried to get the university to throw that resignation letter away, but it was too late for me and they said no. I learned that the university had been planning to get rid of me for a while now, and that was the perfect chance for them.
Oh my, that's a bummer for you then. So then you really are unemployed right now.
Even if I don't have a job right now, I'm a researcher. I'm sure that someday soon, the research that I do will change this world in some way for the better. But it's screwed up that that university and this world don't see how important my work is yet.
That's right. You've sacrificed more than anyone for your research and everything it relates to. And so I'll be waiting for the day that all you've sacrificed is put to good use and changes this world. But you ended up throwing out the one person that funded your research in any way, and I wonder if anyone else will be willing to listen to what you have to say.
Huh?
Your research is important, but you also have to find someone willing to actually fund it for you. But for some reason, you've only ever cared about your research and not about those who put their money into it for you. Always talking about those that don't support you as idiots. And that those that do not understand the importance of your work as inferior. If you keep thinking about those that fund you or consider funding you like that, then you're going to get nowhere with your research.
Huh? How does someone like you know anything about the type of work I do?
I know everything about the work you do, Jeremy. I'm the one that translated a lot of your papers for those overseas to understand, as well as have held relations with different institutions that have been wanting to fund you.
Ugh.
As you sat there doing your research all day and night, you made me handle all the public relations and things regarding business. I even did all of that for you while you continued to call me an idiot for never going any further past high school. Well, you've done it now, Jeremy.
Well, that's...
Well, don't worry, because I'm thankful for what you did. Because of all that work you forced me into, I was able to work from home all the time. I was able to start working for other researchers as well, doing their translations and things like that, and have made off with this work rather well. Right now, I'm making somewhere around $80,000 a year with this kind of work, and I don't even have to leave the house.
What? You're making that much a year from home?
There are a lot of researchers and companies asking for my skills, so I don't have to worry about money. And when I was still married to you, most of what I earned went to supporting you and June. But now, without you both in my life, I'm able to save up lots of money.
What?
I was a bit worried about my life after a divorce with you. But with a yearly income of around $80,000, I'm able to make ends meet.
You're lying, right? All I am is unemployed now. The man who graduated with a master's and is a researcher is currently without any work now. Why should a high school graduate like you be able to make that much?
That's because I worked my hardest to help support your research and the family. I literally sacrificed years of my life in working my job, doing all the chores and raising June just so that you could focus on your research. I even studied financing in my free time to learn how to manage the money better. And because of that, I'm able to do what I do now with a steady income and no worries.
Hey, Sally, what do you think about the two of us getting back together again? Come back here and start funding my research again.
Who the hell would want to fund your research, you dunce? If you're as intelligent as you always bragged about, then you can make up a way to bring in money and fund yourself. I never knew that you brought in that much money every year, Mom. Please, Mom, can you please start paying for me to stay in school for Dad? I'm sorry, but someone who never went anywhere after high school doesn't know how to send money to your dad for him to pay for your schooling. And you shouldn't have to ask for my money anyways, considering I'm so stupid. Please don't say things like that now, just help me. If I don't pay for my semester soon, I'm not going to be able to stay in school and will have to drop out. And then all that work I put into passing those exams will have been for nothing. I won't even be able to get into college anymore, Mom. Well, that just means you'll turn out like me as a high school graduate. Welcome to the life of us stupid people that never chose to move on to a higher education, June. I want to apologize for everything I ever said to you before, Mom. I'm so sorry for treating you like an idiot for so long. It's been all because of the money you brought into the family that Dad and I were able to study what we wanted and go where we pleased, so thank you. I want to keep saying sorry for what I've said, so please forgive me in return. Why should I forgive you? Do you realize just how much you hurt me after what you did to me recently? You were able to get accepted into Harvard after all, so you should be able to understand that, right? But, Mom! Stop asking me for help, and do what you can on your own. You also have your father that you brag so much about there with you. I'm sure two extremely intelligent people like you can make something happen. Now, you both have a good one. After that, I immediately changed both my phone number and email to avoid those two from ever talking to me again. And because of that, I've never had to hear from them again. As from what I've heard through the grapevine, June ended up never being able to pay for her first semester and had to drop out while bawling her eyes out. As of right now, she's been working multiple part-time jobs trying to save up to go to community college in the future. And as for my ex-husband, he ended up finding work as an office worker and spends his days working a job that has nothing to do with his master's degree. And on top of that, he often thinks of himself as better than everyone else because of his past as a researcher. But his boss does his best to put Jeremy right back into his place by yelling at him in front of his coworkers. As for those two's life back at home, they are only able to afford gas station meals as they try to save for their future. But of course, that way of life that they've chosen has nothing to do with me. In my case, I've been able to find a nice apartment where I can spend my days working at home and enjoying the money I bring home. I'm able to keep all the money I earn for myself while enjoying the work that I do, which makes me very thankful for what those two did to me not too long ago.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
You and I are done with Angelica. You're getting a divorce whether you like it or not. Once you come and sign your half of the divorce paperwork, get the hell out of my house.
Huh?
I've no use for some pig of a wife in my house anymore. And today was your worst day for this household so far. Not only did I just come home from a very long and exhausting day at work, but I came home to no dinner cooked for me yet, and all the chores still being left alone. What makes all of this worse is that you weren't even home. You were out having fun by yourself without ever thinking about my needs.
Hold on a minute, Jarrett. Calm down, would you? I'm not out having fun right now. Did you not read the message I sent you before I left the house?
Huh? What's this about a message being left for me?
my belly started to hurt really badly out of nowhere, and so I left the house to go to the nearby urgent care to get it looked at. And from what the doctors told me, next month is looking like the time your baby will be born. So I went into the urgent care just to make sure I wasn't going to have a premature birth or anything like that. I mean, this whole morning my belly was hurting so bad and I felt like vomiting. And at the time, I just couldn't focus on getting any of the chores done around the house.
So you telling me that the kid's out of you now?
Nope, it all ended up just being some slight abdominal pain due to the weight being exerted on everything down there. The nurse told me that it may have seemed like the baby was on the way, but you'll know when you're about to have a baby because the pain will be a lot worse. Hearing that it's only going to hurt worse than today when the baby is ready is actually quite a scary thing to think about.
You kidding me? So you just didn't have a clue what was going on then? No, I'm sure it wasn't on accident either. I bet you faked all that pain so you could get out of the house on purpose. And now you're just lying to me about all of that so I won't get even more upset with you about slacking off today.
What?
I know for a fact that you never actually had any of those so-called abdominal pains, which means you never actually went to any urgent care to get it all checked out. I'm not going to allow you to try and slack off from doing the chores by using yourself being pregnant as the excuse.
I'm not lying about this, though. Why would I ever lie to you about something like that?
I'm seriously starting to rethink things about you being my wife. You seem to think that it's all okay to just slack off every day and use your pregnancy as the reason for it. Even going so far as to lie about going to the doctor's office to get out of the house. You're such an awful wife, Angelica.
Excuse me?
Day after day, saying that you have to carry a baby and that's why you can't get any work done. All I've seen from you these last few months is you just laying around the house like a pig. Really, all you are now is a fat old loser that does nothing to make my household any better. And I'm not going to keep working a 9-to-5 job every day to support a fatty like you.
Calling me an awful wife and a fat wife? What the heck has gotten into you, Jarrett? You do not say things like that to your pregnant wife. I'm not lying when I say I want things to get done around the house. But right now, I'm in the last phase of my pregnancy, and it's just become too difficult to get up and move around like that. Whenever I do stand up, I begin to get dizzy. And I have to hold myself up for at least a couple minutes to get that feeling to go away. Most days, I just have to stay laying on my side to avoid having to feel like I need to throw up. It's driving me a little crazy feeling this badly all the time.
Well, just know that I'm at my limits with you. You and I are getting a divorce, and you're going to like it. I have the divorce paperwork with me sitting on the counter at home, so just sign them for me and hand them in.
You actually did go out and get those documents? You are seriously thinking of getting a divorce from me at a time like this? We have a baby that's on the way and will be here next month.
Shut the hell up, fatty. At this point, I'm starting to even wonder about if you're truly pregnant or not. You sure that all that weight on you isn't just the food you've been scarfing down the past few months?
Huh? Are you seriously going to say that about your own wife?
I am seriously going to say that about her, after what she's been going around doing. All I can see you as anymore is the perfect example of a fat loser. But you just been going on with this pregnancy thing's way of getting yourself out of having to go to work, right?
I cannot believe what I'm hearing right now. You have no right telling me something like that when you have the privilege of not having to ever carry a baby in your life. I've been working harder than you have carrying this baby around for us, making sure it's fed well and will come out healthy and happy. Well, I've had enough of you now, Jarrett. I don't want to raise my child with a father who has a mind like yours. I think I will agree to divorcing you now.
Well, since the two of us are happy to get a divorce now, we don't have to worry about settlements or anything like that.
That's right. You never bothered to think of me as anything besides a tool and wouldn't even support me with my pregnancy. Even before getting pregnant, I was starting to worry a little about what life would be like with you later on as my husband. Well, now I can see that this baby is going to be better off with only me as their parent.
The only thing you're going to be raising is more of that belly fat after I leave you. Anyway, get those documents signed and then get the hell out. I'm tired of having a fat loser sitting around in my house all day, so this will be your last chance to enjoy the amenities I have here.
Hey, Mom? There's someone really strange standing out in front of our house right now. Huh? I just got back from school, and as I went in through the back door, I could see some older man standing out front walking back and forth waiting for someone. And every once in a while, he'll come up on the porch and sit down for a bit. I'm getting scared by this. Do you think it's okay if I run to Grandma's house for a little bit? What's going on? Robin, you can hurry up and go back out the back entrance and run to your Grandma's house. I'll be on my way to your Grandma's house as soon as I finish up the last of my work here. Okay, I'll be going then. Has that old man been trying to talk to you at all? Or have you been trying to talk to him? Not yet, and I'm not going to talk to him. I'm going to call Grandma right now and tell her to have the police go to our house, and then they can take care of that man. Thank you so much for texting me about this the moment you realized what was going on. You are really smart for that and brave. I'm going to Grandma's house now. Good luck with the rest of your work.
Hey, Angelica, when the hell are you going to be coming home from work today? How much longer are you going to make me wait here for you?
Huh? Jarrett?
I've been waiting the whole day here for you to get home from work. You still haven't come home yet. It's gone 6 now, so hurry the hell up. And that's what's made all this a lot more frustrating for me is that the police have now been questioning me. I'm not playing around about all this now.
Wait a second. So the old man that's been pacing back and forth outside my house all day has been you this whole time?
Pacing back and forth? I've just been waiting for my ex-wife to come home so that we can hang out.
What the heck do you mean by us hanging out? Why would you be waiting outside my house all day long for me to come home just to hang out? And why do you want to be around me in the first place? It's been over 10 years now since you and I got divorced, so what are you here for?
There's only one reason why I'll be here for you right now. I'm here to make up with you. Get back together again.
Huh? Makeup? Are you saying that you want to remarry me or something like that?
Well, it's been 10 years since the divorce, and I'm sure that both of us have equally been through some tough situations since then, right? Recently, I had to swallow a tough pill regarding me becoming very sick. I didn't do anything about my symptoms for years, and when I finally went in to have them checked out, the doctor began to yell at me. He told me if I don't change my eating habits soon, I'll only have around 5 years left before I send myself into a comatose state.
What? You only have 5 years?
Right now, one of the most busy times for me at work, and I have no time to focus on changing my eating habits. But that doctor was very strict with me about how things need to change. So, I've realized that I really do need to do something about this. And what I need to do is get back together with you.
So you're telling me that the only reason you want me back is to take care of you as you begin to fall apart?
Well, you're supposed to care for me before things fall apart. And really, I've been so busy lately that I can't watch my diet. I haven't even been able to get any of my chores done lately, and all my laundry's just piling up. And I've started to totally forget about throwing out the trash. But if I'm able to remarry you, well then, I won't have to be worried about all that crap anymore.
Get real, Jarrett. Who the hell do you think is going to come and be your housewife now?
Why are you getting so upset with me? I heard some things about you. Heard that you had a baby and she happens to be my daughter. Since she's a girl, she can even get some chores done around the house for me, even at that young of an age. You're not going to be the only one doing all the chores this time, so what's the problem, right?
Huh? Not only do you plan to have me do your chores, but you want to make my daughter do them as well? Well, I'm not getting remarried to you, Jarrett, and that's not going to change.
Excuse me? You actually going to say no to me, supporting the both of you financially over here? I know dang well that as a single mother, your life is a living hell right now. So stop trying to make this more difficult than it is and come back to my place. Marry me.
Like hell I will.
I know that the money you're bringing in is only barely enough to get by with. It has to be painful living in that small house with your daughter when you don't even have the money to give her a good Christmas. So, come back, marry me, and I'll make sure you both have a wonderful life again. I just recently been promoted to department leader, so I'll have a lot of money coming in now. And that means a lot of money for both you and our daughter as well.
Stop trying to talk badly about the money I bring in. You haven't even been paying child support to me for the last 10 years, and I've done just fine raising my daughter with what I make. So if you have become a department manager now, then do us both a favor and start paying up.
I seriously never believed for 1 second that you actually gave birth to a child back then. But I guess you never were some fatty whose stomach was full of crap.
And just like that, I've remembered all the reasons why I hate you so much, Jarrett. You called someone who was pregnant with your child a fat loser. You were the worst frickin' husband on this planet and are still running as the worst man.
Yeah, but starting very soon, I'm going to be the best husband and father ever.
Huh?
I'm sure that my daughter wants to come and be with her real father, right? I know that all children need to have a balanced family to be raised in, and that means having both parents in the house with them. I'm sure she's had more than enough time spent with you. Yeah, she wants a father figure in her life now. So, you really should just shut up. Come marry me already. If you really care about your daughter, then you should be running over to my side right now. Our daughter needs a father in her life, right?
You shut up, you annoying old fart.
Huh?
I don't need a dad if he's going to be like you. So stop trying to talk like you know what I want.
Am I talking to my daughter right now?
Well, I'm not your daughter, you weirdo. All I am to you is a stranger. Do you even know my name? I bet you don't. And I don't need a dad that doesn't even know his daughter's name. All I need is my mom, and that's it. So stay away from my mom and never marry her again.
Hey. Why are you saying things like that to your own father? I'm your father after all, and I'm here to take you back home with me. We haven't been able to meet for the last 10 years, but that whole time I've been wanting to meet you. But having to hear my own daughter, who I've been wanting to meet so badly, call me an old fart.
If you keep lying to us, we're going to call the police again. Did you know we can do that to you?
Huh?
My teacher told me about things like this at school. That those who lie are bad people, and the police will take them to jail.
Your father isn't lying to you about anything right now. I'm telling you, this whole time I've been wanting to come see you.
No, you haven't. I know that you hate me, and you never wanted me. And that's why before I was ever born, you divorced Mom and told her to go away. You never wanted to see your own daughter, and that's why you made us leave, right?
That was never what happened. I think this whole time your mother's just been talking poorly about your father, and that's made you upset. You can see that your mom is the only mean person here, right?
My mom would never lie to me about anything. Also, my grandma has told me stories about you. She told me that right before I was born, you ran off and never spoke to my mom again.
What? Your grandma?
So, now that you've even heard it from my daughter, you can give up now, right? I understand that to a small kid it's important for them to have both a mother and a father figure in their lives. But my daughter doesn't want you to be her father figure, so... I mean, she even showed that dislike for you to me by snatching my own phone right away from my hands and texting you all of that. So that's why I've been saying that you and I will not be getting remarried.
Hold on just a second. Who the hell is this grandma she was talking about? I heard from you that your mom died ages ago. You never had anyone like a mother figure around you since then, right? So you're never able to go back to anyone like your mom or dad after giving birth to her, right?
Well, this is your mother we're talking about here. After what you'd done to me, your mother came to my side and made sure to care for both myself and my baby when we needed someone. And she's done a great job being a grandma to my girl.
What? Yo, you been talking to my parents still? And they've never said a thing to me about it?
Not just talking with them, but staying with them as well. I'm actually with your mom right now. And this whole time, your mom and dad have been looking over my shoulder at the conversation we've been having.
Excuse me?
I got a text earlier today from my daughter about how there was some old man pacing back and forth in front of our house. And so I had your parents take care of her while I was still at work and had them call the police on you as well. And once I had finished my work, I went over to their place where I'm currently staying now. And just a bit after arriving here, you happened to start texting me. So this whole time you and I have been texting, they've been sitting around me watching.
They live in the same neighborhood as you. Hey, tell me how the hell that happened. I haven't even been able to get in touch with my parents for the past few years. So why are they there with you while I'm texting you? Wait, just after our divorce, they told me they'd sell their house and move far away. Is moving into this neighborhood what they meant by that?
Huh? You knew that they would be moving over here, right?
Never had the chance to learn about where they'd be moving to. I just assumed the day they told me they were moving, and they never contacted me again, meant that they went another state or something.
Well, I guess if they didn't contact you afterwards, you wouldn't have known. I mean, your parents were very upset with you when they heard about what you called and did to me. When I told them that you called your own pregnant wife a fat loser, they flipped.
And that's why I never bothered to really text them after they left. When I learned this time that I was really sick, I thought it'd be a great time to go back to my family's house. I started trying to call them both, but they'd never pick up. And when I texted asking their address, they just left me on red. Been a real pain in the butt for me.
I see. And so that's the reason why you're now trying to get your ex-wife to care for you?
Why my parents moved in the same neighborhood as you did? And what's this going on between you two, acting like you're all still family?
Did you know that the reason your parents moved into this neighborhood was for my daughter and I? They told me they'd take full responsibility for their dumb son, and that they'd do everything in their power to make sure my daughter and I live a happy and safe life. And just like they said, they moved into a house down the street and have been taking care of us since.
You kidding me?
And it's because of them both that right after having my baby, I was able to get back out there and find new work. And as time's gone on, they have stuck around to make sure that my daughter gets to where she needs to be while I'm working. Just like today, when she told me there was a strange old man standing out front, I was able to ask your parents to take her in. I'm being serious when I say that your parents are some of the best people on this planet.
Stop it with that crap. They aren't the best people anywhere. They haven't even bothered to talk to their own son for the past 10 years, as though they never even had a son in the first place. Yet they're totally fine acting like you're their daughter, and your kid's their grandbaby. This is all completely screwed up. They should be caring about me and my problems.
No, they shouldn't. Your parents have already told me that they never want to see or hear from you again, so why would they ever come and help you now? As far as they're aware, their real son passed away a decade ago and was replaced by an imposter. They always say things like that to all their friends, actually.
Huh?
And unlike their dead son, they still have a breathing and cute grandchild to look after. And they want to make sure that their dead son's ex-wife is taken care of as well. So now, good luck to you in that fake sickness of yours. Not only do your parents and my daughter not want you in their lives, but neither do I or the rest of the people in this neighborhood.
Yo, you have to wait. This is all just a joke, right? Do you really think I'm gonna believe that everyone is gonna throw me away now? If I can't find someone to change my diet and clean my house for me, I only have 5 years at the most left in me.
You're not a freaking baby anymore, so you should be able to care for yourself, right? Even my own daughter is able to care for herself more than you can, which is pretty embarrassing, right? So if you really want to keep calling yourself her father, then you need to show us that you can actually do more than sit around and cry all day.
Please, Angelica, can't you at least hold on to me for a bit longer? I'm not gonna say anything as selfish as wanting you to marry me again anymore, but I at least want you to stay by my side. Help me out.
Huh?
I just got a message from my parents finding the other day. Been about a decade since I last heard a thing from them. When I started to think that they were beginning to worry about their sick son, they started to blow up on me. They kept telling me to stay away from everyone in their family, including you. That from now on, they're completely cutting ties to me. And will make sure you and your daughter do too.
It's about time those two told you how they feel about you. I'm sure having to hear how angry they are with you from those two themselves has really shined a light on how horrible of a person you are, right? I was watching them when they wrote those texts to you, and your dad had a face on him that even the devil would respect. It made my daughter cry seeing him that angry.
Never thought that my parents would ever tell me they don't want me anymore. Parents should normally want to come and help their kid when they become sick, right? It's right? Instead of you. You'll never leave me like they have, right? We've already been married before, so there's nothing that could make you throw me away, right? I'm sure that since then you still hold on to some feelings for me, right?
Not at all, Jarrett. And as for ever thinking about getting back together with you, those thoughts died the moment you kicked me out of your house 10 years ago.
Huh?
And besides, I've been really busy since then being a single mother. I have to work on my own, I have to do all the chores at home on my own, and I have to raise my daughter to be a good woman mostly on my own. It's a tough life for me that's kept me busy for so long. So ever since you left me, there hasn't been a single ounce of interest in someone like you.
That's... So, you never even once thought about making things right with me again. Getting back together. And even during this past week, you haven't thought anything about me? I thought for sure you would have started to notice the great man I am again.
Why would I ever want to start thinking about you again? I have no reason to. And like I said before, who the hell would want to get remarried to you?
I told you that I wouldn't be selfish in asking you to marry me again. I just want you to come and visit me a few times each week. Heck, just a few times a month would be fine with me. When you come over, all I ask is for you to take care of me for a day.
Jesus, Jarrett.
Back when I was able to eat your cooking, I never had to worry about getting sick from it. And having you handle all the chores in the house for me made it so I could stay healthy. Now that you've been gone for 10 years, I really need you back in my life.
So you're asking me to just come over and do all the chores for you now? That's even more selfish than you just asking me to marry you, you fat idiot.
I've been wanting to pay you, though. I think this could make for a great opportunity for you to make some extra cash. How about $300 a month for your services? How does that sound? That should be enough to pique your interest a bit, right?
You think $300 is enough to get me to come back to that hellhole and care for the most hated man on this planet? For Christ's sake, Jarrett, don't make me laugh too much.
Then how does $1,000 sound? That work for you? Not just that, but I'll start paying child support as well. From now on, I'll take the responsibility of her father. Make sure she gets that child support. So please, don't throw me away, because I'll be willing to give you that much.
Sorry, Jarrett. No matter how much you offer, something that impossible will never happen. And at this point, we don't need child support from you. Really, no matter what you try and offer me, it's not going to happen.
What?
If you really need someone to come over and wipe your butt that badly, then maybe look into hiring a pro housemaid or something.
But if I hire a housemaid, I have to pay them more than I want to. They'll be a complete stranger to me, trying to feel my need for love. I want my family to come back to me, be by my side again.
Really?
Please listen to what I'm asking for. I'm seriously sick right now. Every day has been hell for me because my body is hurting so much. And on days off from work, I can't even get out of bed and have to lay here on my side all day. But even now, I don't want a pro caring for me. I just want someone that I know personally to be here to care for my needs out of love.
And I completely understand how you feel right now. Back when I was pregnant, I felt the exact same way as you do now. I was in a lot of pain half the time due to my large belly, and I always felt sick to the point I wanted you around me to help out. It was a feeling of just wanting someone I love to be there with me, showing how much they care by doing the chores and cooking for me.
That's right. So you really do understand how I feel now. So please, Angelica, since you really do understand me, you can come and help.
Huh? Just because I understand you doesn't mean I care to be there for you. I already made myself clear by saying it's impossible.
Huh?
When I was feeling that way, you never once came to help me or even cared to understand how I was feeling, right? And not only did you not help me, but you turned all of that against me and started to talk crap about me for it. You called me a fat loser and all of that, right? And you even now still doubt that I was ever even pregnant in the first place. You think I'm going to come and help you now after all of that?
Well, that was...
Your parents already told you, right? That you are never to come and talk to any of us ever again, right? I guess even a man as old as you has a hard time understanding English. When they ask you to stop talking to us, that means you put down your phone and never text or call me ever again. It means to never be around us ever again because none of us want to remember those horrible memories you left us all with. The whole reason you are all alone now with nobody to help you is all due to the actions you took against everyone, and you deserve every bit of it. After that, Jarrett's sickness ended up getting a lot worse, and he had to be taken to the hospital in an ambulance. But while he was in the hospital for a bit being cared for due to his super high blood pressure and terrible diet, he would call out to all his nurses asking for them to marry him and be his housewife, and then complain about how terrible being a single man was. But because of his behavior, the president of the hospital came down for a surprise visit to his room and told him that he was being discharged and would never be admitted into his hospital again. And since then, he's had to take day after day off work due to his sickness only getting worse. And his boss told him that his pay would be cut due to him never coming in enough. And so as of right now, he's been locked in his landfill-like house for a while, doing whatever work he can remotely while never getting any chores done. As for what my daughter had called him back then, an old fart, she told me she learned that from some of the high schoolers on the block. She said to me that they told her whenever an older man does something to me that I don't like, to call them that and run away. And so I made sure to tell her not to call anyone else that kind of name besides the old fart that's locked up in his house right now.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.